This took place at around 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night in 2015. Let me start this story off like this. I am an avid coyote hunter and used to absolutely love hunting them at night when they are most active. One afternoon I decided I was going to take off and go hunting after the sun went down. I get home, load my gear and hit the road. About an hour later, and I pull into the parking area for the state forestry that I'm going to hunt. This particular place that I chose, I've had luck in the past and knew of a den about a mile from the main trail. So I set off down the graveled path unknowing of what I was about to encounter in just a short while. My strategy is to walk 100 yards at a time, stop and blast a coyote locator call until I hear one respond. On the first set, nothing. Second set, nothing. However, on the third set, everything changed. The trail that I'm on makes a really sharp, almost hairpin turn to the right, and in the middle of that hairpin is a Civil War area cemetery with a dense pine thicket behind it and a very steep bottom across the trail in front. I have a habit of walking through the cemetery and touching the main headstone. Almost as a sign of respect or something. As I'm walking up to the headstone, I hear the faint sound of something landing on the ground in the pine thicket. The weird thing was that I only heard one boom as if a human or bipedal thing touched down. Usually, animals, bobcats, when they jump to the ground, it's front paws first and then the rear, so boom, boom. Immediately, I started to feel uneasy and wanted to leave. The only problem? Whatever was in that pine thicket, stood between me and the only way back to my truck. I started to notice the silence. Like everything that was just making noise a minute ago was gone. At this point in time, I noticed the unmistakable feeling of being watched. I immediately started scanning the pine thicket to see if I could see something, anything that would make this bizarre situation make sense. I scanned for what felt like hours, until finally I noticed it. On the edge of the thicket there was this thing. Too tall to be human, maybe 7 or 8 feet tall. I could only make out the outline, but it looked emaciated and deathly. My mind had to be playing tricks on me, because this is the stuff you only read about and never encounter. My reality soon changed when this thing darted to the right and ran down into the bottom. This bottom was about 300 to 400 feet deep and very steep, but whatever that was got to the bottom of it in no time flat. The path to my truck was now clear and I was trying to come up with a plan to make it. But, as I would soon discover, the thing ran into the bottom to better position itself for an ambush from behind. I waited about 5 more minutes before I decided to move. I took one step forward and heard it. It was in the bottom directly below me, slowly working its way up the hill. I bolted, straight across the trail, through the cemetery, and into the pine thicket towards the main road. I ran about 100 yards and stopped. The scariest part? When I stopped, it stopped. The entire time I was running, I could hear it running behind me, gaining on me. I always carry a pistol when I hunt and it is always in a holster on my chest just in case. I decided that the only way I was making it out of here alive was to dump and run. Essentially, you fire in the direction of the threat until your mag is empty and then you run like hell. I had 3 mags in total, 51 bullets between me and certain death. I counted, 1, 2, 3, bang. I emptied the mag and made a mad dash as far as I could, never hearing the thing behind me. I stopped after what felt like hours, reloaded and readied for another barrage of bullets. About 15 seconds after stopping, I started to hear crashing, like a big animal was blasting through trees running in my direction. Bang! I dumped and bolted. This time the plan was to run all the way to the truck, about half a mile from my current position through the woods. This time while running, I could hear it, getting closer and closer. I jumped behind a fallen log to reload one last time. The thing stopped, but I could hear its breath. I could hear the low growl this thing had, like a dog or coyote mixed with something from the pits of hell. Bang! 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 The slide of my pistol locked back and I was off, the truck now in sight. Maybe 70 yards. I ran faster than I ever have in my entire life. I made it, finally. Jumped in, started my truck and got the hell out of there, the entire time scanning the woods on either side and behind me. I've never been back in the woods of Brown County, at night alone, and more than likely never will.